escaping the shadows. I know it's hard to put one foot in front of the other.
Hi everyone, CeeChronicles here. Welcome and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, I post fragrance related content and would very much appreciate it if you did consider subscribing. To those who are returning, thank you so much for the continued support. Today I'm not reviewing any fragrance, but there is a topic that has been slowly creeping in my comment section and around social media about the rise of counterfeit Middle Eastern fragrances, and I thought to weigh in my opinion on what is happening. Guys, there is an influx of counterfeit Middle Eastern fragrances, so please do be careful where you purchase your fragrances, right? Now, the reason why I thought to do this video, guys, is I have been receiving a couple of comments, and those comments, first I thought, oh, okay, I'm gonna leave it, and then because I get more and more of those comments, I thought, no, let me attend to this. The counterfeit market is one that moves very fast, so it's not surprising that some of the latest DNAs would have also been replicated already, right? I remember receiving a comment, or it actually became a thread in my comment section about somebody saying they had received a counterfeit caramel cascade from the House of Paris corner, not from the House of Paris corner, but caramel cascade is a Paris corner product, but they said they had bought it off a certain site. Now, I'm not here to attack certain websites, so I'm not going to mention website names as well, but they in the comment section actually mentioned the website, and they said, I bought a caramel cascade off this website and it turned out to be fake. And then another person came in and said the same thing. Another one said, oh yeah, I did as well, but I managed to return mine successfully, right? So that was one of those comments. And then there was another one very recently who commented on having received an eclair by Latafa, and they just, the comment was actually directed at me as like sounding as though, what in the hell are you talking about? Because what you're smelling and what I got is not the same. They, in simpler words, said, my eclair arrived, and in fact, to put it bluntly, it smells like water. Okay, so that was the other that was the other comment. Now, I'm going to speak about my personal experience with, what's happening with counterfeit fragrances. I've never purchased a counterfeit Middle Eastern fragrance because, in my country, we do have a Latafa brand, and I do have a Dubai address, so I sometimes buy directly, from the UAE. Yes, there have been instances where I've bought fragrances here and there, but I wouldn't say those fragrances showed up and proved to be fake. But having said that, there was one day when I was doing my shopping in some store, huge store, right, in South Africa, and it's not a store I'd say focuses on fragrances, but they do have a little fragrance corner within the store. I was there for various things. They sell plates, they sell Christmas trees, they sell deco stuff, carpets and stuff, but they had a little corner there where they were displaying Middle Eastern fragrances. And what caught my attention was the shahaf line that they had there, because you remember I broke my shahaf oud, and it's one fragrance that I've always wanted to replace. So I went closer to that counter, looked at the shahaf oud, looked at the box and everything like that. There was nothing really that I would say screamed weird, or shady. But the price is what made me say, this is not the real product. It was going for 100 Rand. Now, if you're in South Africa, you will know that 100 Rand converted to US dollars is about $8. And this is the price that the store is selling it for. So let us assume that they got it for $1. Because, of course, Swiss Arabian is not manufactured in South Africa. So they would have brought it from somewhere else, shipped it, put all the cost, maybe paid duty on it, and found it befitting to sell it for $8. So that should make you think twice that, no, there's something wrong about this. There's no way, okay, shahaf oud in itself would sell for $8. I think up to now, the lowest you'd get it for is probably within $18 to $25 somewhere there, depending on whether somebody is just getting rid of of it or something. These were brand new products, and that is what they were going for. I also saw an Assad, I also saw a Yara, I also saw, all sorts of fragrances. So what I'm here for is to just conscientize you guys on making sure that you do not get products that are not legit. It's one thing that we are trying to save, but it's another, piling up on things that are not even real. So the best way to make sure that you do not fall victim into purchasing something that is not legit is obviously look at the site that you're purchasing, from. And I know some of these reputable sites will get hit as well, not by choice, but because if they're open to a lot of sellers, any seller can come there and sell anything. So it's entirely up to your discretion. It's also entirely up to some of the sellers that may be watching this particular video to reach out via DM, because I cannot give anybody a shout out here. If you haven't reached out to me, reach out via DM. I'll also do my due diligence to see how, to see the history of the certain store, and then possibly recommend that. Otherwise, the other way of doing it is communicating with these companies directly, because most of them have taken to being responsive to messages. I remember there was a time I used to communicate with Middle Eastern fragrance companies, and they wouldn't bother replying. But I've noticed now that via Instagram they are replying. I think it is because of the social media pressure and obviously the competition amongst them, And very recently I did have Cutlass reach out to me again, mentioning the same thing about an influx of especially their oil having been hit by a lot of counterfeits. And they were right, because when they spoke to me, they were right. I actually have experienced something like that when I was looking for that particular oil. I came across a huge website, that ships internationally and stuff like that, and they had that oil going for next to nothing. I didn't have a problem with that company having the oil, going for next to nothing, because they're a wholesale company. But what shocked me the more is they had an option of consumers purchasing the bottles of the oils, the empty bottles. You could actually buy 24, 48, 1,000 of those bottles empty. And that made me think, wait, these are bottles that are already labeled. So basically what this company is doing is anybody can buy these bottles and refill them with whatever. So that is to what extent the speed of the counterfeits is going around. So guys, do be careful. The fact that a fragrance has been launched or has just been launched doesn't mean that some of these counterfeit companies would be slow to reach out and grab a piece, replicate it, and dump it there on the market, and then have everybody confused as to which is which. If it's shady, if it looks awkward, it's probably not the real thing. If you're a collector like myself, you can take the bottle, put it side by side with what you already have. Say, for instance, that Yara line, because that Yara line, has got 4 or 5 others already. So you can put it side by side. If something looks off there, then you ought to maybe do your research as to whether you got the real thing. I also reached out to Latafa some 2 months ago because I was concerned about having seen bottles like this. I'm just showing you an example of how the bottle looked. I had been seeing an influx of 30 ml bottles and stuff like that, and bottles that looked like this under the house. Ad Al Zafran bottling the Yara and stuff. I reached out to Latafa, but Latafa, in their own words, did say that no, it was genuine products. They decided to do a special line under Ad Al Zafran to put out those 30 ml bottles, and in as much as there are counterfeits going around, yes, they do have from their own factory those bottles that they made as a special edition for anybody who would like miniature bottles and stuff like that. And I said, oh, okay, fine, because I was concerned, and I wanted to conscientize people, because I was wondering why, say for instance, the same Yara will be bottled by Latafa and then have it bottled again by Ad Al Zafran. But Latafa, in their own words, did say that that was from them. So yes, those ones are not the ones that I'm talking about here. I am talking about some of the random counterfeit fragrances that are running about. I mean, if Swiss Arabian has been hit, Cutlass has been hit, Latafa itself has been hit. Most recently in the comment section, that caramel casket I was talking about means Paris Corner has been hit. Just make sure you do your due diligence. Talk to the companies themselves. They're very responsive. Ask them where you can purchase some of these fragrances, because yes, it's not feasible to purchase them from the UAE directly, but ask them if they have any recommendations. And lastly, as I said, if there is any seller watching, because I have a lot of mixed audience here, so I know that there are sellers, reach out to me via DM. Don't reach out to me here, on YouTube, because that way you're directly marketing yourself already without my consent. Reach out to me via Instagram DM. Tell me you are a seller. I will check out your website. That way we have a reference point. I mean, if somebody buys from you and it turns out that the fragrance is shady, we are going to come here and, rectify the situation. So I think it's only fair that we do it that way. So yeah, guys, that is the video I thought to drop today. It's not a fragrance review video as usual, but being a person who speaks mostly about Middle Eastern fragrances, I thought to weigh in on the subject of a lot of knockoffs going around. And a lot of people falling victim without knowing, TikTokers falling victim without knowing. Sometimes, you go on TikTok, they're just looking at the bottle. You can see that this is not the real thing. But, these people are actually falling victim without actually knowing that they are, for instance, marketing the wrong thing. So please do be careful. Do your due diligence. These fragrances are already affordable. It's a shame to then purchase the wrong thing, right? Also have a guideline of the price point, because that is very helpful. Unless it's the very old fragrances, the very old lines. The very old lines, they have like a very affordable price range, but most of the new ones that they're dropping there, if the price sounds too good to be true, just think twice, because you can't have one product going for $50 and another one going for $8. As I said to you, earlier on, that on its own is an eye opener. CeeChronicles is my name. Thank you so much for joining me today. Let's meet in the comment section where we're going to discuss more about fragrances. Remember to turn on post notifications. That way you get to be notified anytime I upload a video. Thank you so much for joining me today. And remember, guys, that smelling good is a form of good manners. Cheers.